I'm trying to find the balance of what I would like to do with this channel. Part of me wants to keep this strictly hair with tutorials and education, but another part of me just wants to live life and be human. As I get older, I feel like I'm starting to reframe the way I think. I'm starting to appreciate a lot of these challenges that I'm facing. I'm not trying to seem superior to anybody, I just want to be vulnerable. And when you listen to me speak, I want you guys to take the second to really sit down and analyze your own life so that we can try to heal and improve our life, make the differences and the changes that we need. I feel like I've been very in tune with my emotions since a very young age, but it's very different when you have awareness and you have the right guidance to move forward. So I want to talk about a couple things that I am currently experiencing with life. I feel like these things are so obvious, but they're so easy to neglect and be very ignorant about. It is very important to build 3 foundations as strong as possible. The first one being work, the second one being family, and the third one being relationships, whether it's boyfriend-girlfriend or friendships. I feel like if these 3 things are going terribly wrong in your life, you're going to feel disoriented, you're going to feel lost, you're going to feel lonely, and you're going to feel like you have no purpose. It could even lead to feeling suicidal. I know that sounds like a very dark topic, but it's very true. Something that I've been learning is to be vulnerable, to be transparent, and to just be honest with ourselves and take accountability for anything that you are doing wrong and understand that whatever is happening to you right now, it's all because of your decisions. What we are not changing, we are choosing. But in certain areas of life, you do have to be black and white. If there's good, there's bad. If there's light, there's dark. When it comes to problem solving, that's where you can kind of be in the grayscale area. In this gray area, it really means to be open-minded and take any information. If you're having a problem with something, whatever it may be in your life, if you happen to be able to reframe and sit with yourself and think the opposite of whatever that problem is, it's going to be your solution. For instance, for me, it was very difficult to express my emotions. The reason why I'm recording this and even sharing this to the public is because sometimes we need to really sit down with ourselves and have this conversation. Have the conversation of what I need to change. Spend time with yourself. Like, sometimes we get distracted with hanging out with friends and social media and all these other things, and we're not really grounding ourselves to what we truly need to make the difference in our life. So I want to be vulnerable and have you guys experience a self-talk and how I'm trying to work my brain to find a better lifestyle. This isn't scripted and this isn't something that I'm just writing down and talking about in order. This is really just me talking to myself and trying to express. One of the biggest problems in my life is that I am introverted and I was having an extremely difficult time expressing my emotions. And there was only one way that I got to fixing that, and is obviously to talk, right? That's the obvious. Again, that's that black and white. So the problem that I had here was not really that I couldn't express my emotions, is that I didn't have the connection with anybody to be vulnerable with. And I feel like if you don't have that, you're going to have a very hard time expressing anything. You don't feel comfortable enough with the person to share your emotions. You may not feel like they're going to take you seriously. I'm starting to acknowledge the fact that we just get stuck in our heads. So look, it's going to sound really strange. The solution for me was to talk to strangers. Because in my head, I told myself, if I talk to my family, if I talk to my friends, they're going to judge me or they're going to think I'm weird. And they added this pressure where I felt like I couldn't open up. You may not know until you have that conversation. I think the biggest problem that we have is we start to think too much about the future and we start to think too much about the past, and we're not in the present moment. And the problem with that is that it's going to create a world full of anxiety. And if you've ever felt anxiety, it is not a good feeling. So I came to that thought and I'm like, they're going to remember this and they might make fun of me, right? Why did I talk to strangers? Is one, you might not ever see them again. Two, if you share anything personal, they might think you're really weird, or they might be able to connect with you. I was more comfortable sharing my emotions with someone I didn't know because I knew that after I expressed it, there was going to be no judgment. There was not going to be a continuous embarrassment that we may feel. And it's crazy how life worked, but when barbering came to my life, it's like it forced me to communicate. I'm sitting one-on-one with a client, and for the most part, I was quiet until life hit me and I felt that desperation to need to talk to somebody. I got to the point where I became very sad and depressed, and yeah, I was suicidal. And if you ever feel like that, I would encourage you to seek some help. Honestly, talk to somebody immediately. I know it may be hard, but let me tell you something. I used to look into people who wanted to commit suicide and actually attempted it. Every single person who has tried it and survived it regrets it. I learned that through communication and being vulnerable with people and just having a deep conversation can change your life. Absolutely. In those moments of desperations, I started talking to my clients. And the more I talked to my clients, I started to notice that there was a little bit of weight off of my shoulders. Again, after feeling this sense of relief, I started to get mental clarity. We don't really realize that all the problems, even if they're minor, accumulate to cause your brain to be so foggy and not be able to see clearly or think straight or think about any solutions. And I don't exactly know what the situation is in your life, but if it's possible, we need to get down to the source. Something that I've been struggling with was like 3 or 4 years ago when my parents were in comas and I felt like I lost both of my parents. And in the relationship that I was in, I didn't feel supported or respected or loved. I was kind of in a crisis with work because although I was there trying my best, I felt like everyone felt my energy and how depleted I was. So the 3 foundations that I was talking about were very unstable, which caused me to be depressed. I'm going to bring this topic up because I feel like this is something that was so meaningful that I didn't know was going to happen and I didn't know I needed. So something unexpected happened, and the person that I was with in that relationship reached out, and at first I was very scared and I was very nervous about what the conversation may be or how it may go. The validation and the accountability of this conversation made me feel at peace. That part of my life was such a blur, and I wanted to just get that closure. If you guys ever feel like you need to reach out, do it. But before you actually do it, make sure that you are in the right headspace with the right thoughts and the right intentions. I know this story may seem very random and it's not going to be in detail, but I'm understanding the power of a deep conversation and being vulnerable. I think my whole life having such an unstable foundation, something that has been keeping me balanced, is to have connections. That is what I needed to start building a strong foundation. To have connection with my family, to feel connection within a relationship or a friendship, and to have a good connection within my workspace. Again, I don't have all the answers for you, but I will say that these are going to be important. I want you to be able to break down your own thoughts, calm down, isolate yourself, really sit and think about all these little pieces that might be missing in your life. And some of us may not have the resources or the advice or the right guidance to do it. I know I didn't. It's been a very long battle, but I'm starting to feel more confident with this. And the reason why I'm even making this is because I want to be able to present that. I feel like social media glorifies all the highlights, but guess what? In that black and white scale, if social media is so important in this world and it's all highlights, we're starting to neglect the truth and the reality that we are living in. If you're feeling like your life is absolutely unbalanced, this is only the start. I want to navigate this with you. Again, I don't have the solutions for everyone. You need to trust the process, but I need you to lock in. I need you to really look at yourself in the mirror and be real with yourself. Be honest and ask yourself, are you truly happy with how everything is going? If you're not, it is totally okay. My purpose is not to give everyone solutions, but to bring the awareness that you have a lot of potential. I'm here for you. I'm rooting for you. There is life after death. Reborn.